Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Atieno. If you're new here, if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I am, because you are. So the question I'm going to be answering in this episode is a question that I've been asked so many times, and most, if not all of those times, I didn't have an answer. And I didn't have an answer because it's a question that's difficult to answer. A lot of times people have asked me to tell them what my favorite country is out of all the countries that I've been to, or out of all the places that I've been to. And most of the time I'm not able to answer that question. Why? Because every country offers a unique experience. Every country has a unique thing that another country does not have. Every country has unique experiences that another country does not have. So for that reason, I've never been able to answer that question. But in today's video, I'm going to be highlighting some of my favorite things about the countries I've been to in East Africa. This is the East African edition. Let's start from home. So thank you so much for tuning in. If that is your kind of content, please subscribe. Okay, let's get right into it. Country number one, Uganda. I've been through Uganda so many times, especially on my way to Rwanda, and I've had a chance to explore some of its cities like Jinja, Kampala, Mbarara, and there's one more. It's escaping my mind. It's the city between the Kenya-Uganda Malaba border and Jinja. I think it has an M somewhere, but nicer how. So one thing I love about Uganda right off the bat is the food. The quality and the fact that there's so much food and food is so affordable. The first time I visited Uganda, I was a student. I was in campus. And then the second time, so during that time, we only had an opportunity to explore Kampala because I was attending a workshop in Kampala before heading to Rwanda. But then the only city we explored at that particular time was Kampala. I noticed that Kampala is quite crowded, but we had a good experience. Now, the second time I was visiting Uganda, I was on my way to Rwanda again. And by then, boyfriend and I were just having fun. Yeah. So something happened we traveled via Modern Coast, and then something happened with our bus. Our bus left us, and our bus did not leave us because we were late. Like we were at the booking office by 8, and our bus was supposed to pick us up by 10 or 11. And then the bus came. Apparently, some of those drivers decide to pick people outside the station. So that's how our bus left us. Like, our seats were sold to some other people. While we were at the booking office, our seats were sold to some other people, and then we had to wait for another bus. So that meant the bus that we were waiting for was not a direct bus to Kigali. It was a bus to Kampala, and then now we had to wait for another bus to pick us up again that evening at 8 p.m. So that means we had like a whole 12 hours. No, 12 hours is a lot. We had like about 8 hours to, spend in Kampala. So we checked into a hotel, and then after checking in, we showered and all that. That was at around 10, 11-ish. And then we showered, and then we went downstairs to the same hotel's restaurant and ordered for food. I ordered for beef and was it beef and ugali, or beef and fries, something like that. My guys, when my order came, The plate was full of food. There were fries, there was matoke, there was ghee rice, things I didn't order for. And then now I looked at the lady and asked her, like, is this what I ordered for? And she told me, yes, that's. And then I finally figured out that that is how they serve their food. There's plenty of food in Uganda, and it's, you know, good food, homegrown food, and it's food that is affordable and tasty. So right off the bat, that is my favorite thing about Uganda. The food, the fact that there's food in plenty, the fact that it's good food, the fact that it's fairly priced. Yeah, because I remember we also went out and had dinner. Our bus was leaving at 8, so but then we went out and had dinner in a different place, and you know, the food was amazing. Yeah, so that is my favorite thing about Uganda. Yeah, I'm yet to explore places like, you know, Western Uganda and you know, the rest of it, but I think the capital should speak for the rest of the country. Yeah, basing my experience of Kampala. I've also had a chance to eat at Barara, and that was very recently. I think that was in 2022. Was it in 2022 or 2023? 2023. Yeah, I was also headed to Rwanda, by the way, and we stopped at Mbarara to have. We were actually driving there, so we stopped at Mbarara to have lunch, and it was buffet style, and you know, there was a lot of food, plenty of food. The only thing that surprises me with these countries that are not Kenya, I've seen this in Uganda and I've seen it in Rwanda, is that they serve people one piece of meat. Why are you serving me one piece of meat? Like, it's not like a small piece of meat, it's one huge chunk of meat. Ugandans watching this or Rwandans watching this, what's the logic? Next country we're going to be talking about is Tanzania. And life is cheap in Tanzania. I don't know if it only applies to Dar, because I've not really properly explored the other parts of Tanzania. I've been to Tanzania by air, and I've also been to Tanzania by road. Yes, so the only thing I remember, I think now they have a better airport. I've not been to the new airport, but I remember the airport was crazy. That was in 2017. Yeah, 2017. Yeah, I'd gone to Tanzania for work. We're going to collect some data, and man, the airport was crazy. It was hot. You know, Dar is like Mombasa. The weather is the same because of the ocean. So it was crazy. The airport was crazy. It was crowded. It was hot. It was crazy. But then the food was amazing. The hotel that we were staying at it had like an Indian vibe. So they had things like roti and chicken, whatever, chicken curry on their menu. And the food, I remember the food was great. But then one thing I remember about Tanzania is that life is cheap. Yeah. You see, the 1 liter bottle of water that we buy here at 50-60 shillings. I remember buying that in Tanzania in 2018 at 21 or 25 shillings, thereabouts. And you know, that's like half the price that you're getting it at in Kenya. So life is cheap in Tanzania. And then let me give you a little backstory. I've said that I've been to Tanzania twice, once by air and once by road. So the second time we were headed to Zanzibar, and we arrived in Dar at around 10 p.m. in the night. Yeah, I think it was around 10 p.m. in the night. we got a cab and it took us to some random hotel. We couldn't go to Zanzibar at that time because the ferry service was closed. Yeah, I think the last, back then, I'm not sure about now, but back then the last ferry left at around 4-ish. Yeah, so we had to find a hotel for the night and then book the ferry in the morning. So we got a hotel. First of all, I remember the cab guy overcharged us. Like, it was a very small distance and he charged us like 4,500 shillings. Was it 3,000 shillings? Like, yeah, a little overcharged because we didn't even know that Uber was working in TZ then. And also, now that I mentioned Uber, I've just remembered that when we were in TZ at that time, if you requested for Uber, you see in Kenya, if you request for Uber, at some point the Uber guy will call you in case they need clarifications or things like that. So in Tanzania, I realized they flash you, wanaku flash. Yeah, well, maybe it's because of you know, well, I don't know, I can't explain. Yeah, but I found that very strange. So we go to our hotel and then we spent the night, and then in the morning we went to the pier where the ferries dock. And then we decided, we were told, we went there quite early, I think at around 8. And then we were told that the first ferry leaves at around, well, not the first. We did not catch the first. So we were waiting for the second, the one that left at around 2, at around 1 or 2. So we booked our slots on the ferry, and then we bought our tickets, and then we decided that since we had some time to buy, that we should find a place for breakfast. So we just, by the way, let me give you a tip. If you go to a new country or a new place, ask the locals where they eat their food. Yeah, don't just walk into random places. Ask the locals where they eat their food. You're likely to get fresh food and good portions. So we asked like a random guy to point us to the nearest restaurant, and he showed us some place up. It was giving Kibandaski vibes, but then we didn't want to go very far from the ferry station. What is it called? Is it called a ferry station or the pier, whatever? So we went and sat down. Guys, if you've not had breakfast in Tanzania, but you need to get a life. You've not lived at all. Tanzanian breakfasts are the truth. So they were serving, you see, Kenyaji chicken. It's boiled, and I don't remember if it had any like tomatoes or things like that. But then it seems like it's boiled, and then now the soup from the chicken, like that is complete breakfast. So there was boiled beef and boiled tripe, in case that is your type of thing, and then there's boiled chicken, and it's not GMO chicken, it's not kukupo, no, it's Kenyeji free range chicken. So you can have that with chapo or mandazi or anything, and then now there's tea on the side if you want that. That was my highlight in Dar. Yeah, like that was my highlight. That was my highlight. You know, the breakfasts are so comprehensive and so intense. I totally love that about TZ. Yeah. And then the people are also very friendly. So other than the cost of living being bearable, the breakfasts are great, and then the people are so friendly. And then there's also a lot of like street food. Every corner you turn, it has the vibe of Mombasa. You see vile coast kila kona kuna mapochopocho. They're selling mapochopocho everywhere. So I guess it's just the Swahili culture. So that is the same thing that happens in Dar. There are mapochopochos everywhere. Kila kona, kila kona, kila kona mapochopochos. Yeah. So I think I love that about Dar. But then, out of all those things, it's the typical Tanzanian breakfast. That is everything. It's the truth. While we are still on Tanzania, I think I should also just talk about Zanzibar. Zanzibar is it's a self-governing part of Tanzania, but I don't know. I've been to Zanzibar once, and we had like a very amazing experience. So 2 things happened in Zanzibar that make it unique. 2 things that were highlights for me. The first is Forodhani Food Park. Now I'm officially a foodie. The Forodhani Food Park comes alive at around 5 p.m. in the evening. Well, that was then. I don't know if things have changed, but then it's like a food market, like not raw food, but cooked food, and it's everything you've ever, almost everything you've ever dreamt of. Mostly Swahili food, but also there's variety to pick from, like diverse. It's crazy. Like, it's a food market, and it's not a raw food market, it's a cooked food market. There's seafood, there's chapatis, there's mandazis, kaimatis, samaki wa kupaka, you know, all those things Swahili people make, all the amazing things that Swahili people make. If you want coconut water, madafu, iko hapo. Like, there's so much to pick from. It's crazy. And at this point, I think I should say that the best shawarma I've ever had in my life, I had in Zanzibar. And the guy was just, you know, making it hapo tukiangalia. Like, he was making it, you make your order, and then he makes it right there. And it was amazing. It was amazing. So if you're ever in Zanzibar, after, you know, your day's activities and all that, at least pick an evening or 2 to experience Forodhani Food Park, because it's a food lover's paradise, especially if you love seafood. I'm not a seafood person, but then if you love seafood, your mind is gonna be blown, because there's variety, and there's variety. There's everything Swahili, and it's amazing. It was a wonderful experience. I totally loved it. And then, other than the food, Zanzibar has the bluest waters I've ever seen. The bluest ocean waters I've ever seen. Like, the waters are so blue. The waters are so blue. Like, you see the way you might go to Google, and then you key in say you go to Google and then you search ocean. The pictures that pop up are usually blue ocean waters, and that is what Zanzibar is like. The waters are so blue. I've been to the Kenyan coast countless times. In fact, I've been to all the Kenyan coastal towns and cities, and I've never seen such blue waters. Yeah, Diani comes close, but, well, some parts of Diani come close, but still Zanzibar has it. Yeah, so for Zanzibar, the Forodhani Food Park, and then the very blue ocean waters of Zanzibar. I think that was my highlight. Let's talk about Rwanda. And of course, I'm gonna start with the most popular thing about Rwandan towns and cities, the countryside, the cleanliness. Like, Rwanda is a clean country. I was about to say Rwanda is a clean city. Rwanda is a clean country. Like I mentioned before, the first time I went to Rwanda, I was a student, and it was just an extension of the road trip to Uganda, because we were supposed to be attending a conference in Uganda, but then we took the chance to go all the way to Rwanda, and the experience was amazing. Yeah, other than experiencing the city, like Kigali city, we went all the way to is it called Butaro province, where the National University of Rwanda is. Yeah. Huye, yes, Huye, yes. We went to Huye, and we went to the genocide memorial. We went to, there's another school there that's I think it's also a genocide memorial place or something like that, because I remember it's like a school. It's like a school, and inside the classes there are bones, yeah, remains of people and children and all that stuff. It's not at the Genocide Memorial Center, but it's also a genocide memorial place in Rwanda. I don't exactly remember the location, but we drove a bit way out of the city. So that was it was a crazy, my first time in Rwanda was a crazy experience. It was very emotional, because other than visiting the Genocide Memorial Center, we got to interact with some of the people that were victims of the genocide. You know, some of the people that lost their parents. They were our age mates. They are our age mates, but National University of Rwanda or something like that. Yeah, and you know, it was quite painful talking to them and, you know, listening to them narrate their experiences. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, so I would say my first time in Rwanda was very emotive. Yeah, it was a very emotive experience. But then we also got to go to Dunda in Rwanda for the first time, and those people don't dance in clubs. Like, very fire music would be playing, but they're just like this on their seats. They're not dancing. So I found that very strange. Yeah, so I think my highlight, I've been to Rwanda like about 4 or 5 times. 4 or 5 times, I think. Yeah, so the first time, as I've said, was very emotive, and then now the subsequent times. So the second time I went for work. So we got to visit, like, we went way out of Kigali. We were collecting data, so we went way out of Kigali, and I experienced the countryside properly. Like, it was a great experience. It was a beautiful experience, I would say. Yeah, and you know, sometimes people say that, oh, it's only the city that is clean, nini. But then I also realized that the Rwandan countryside is very clean. Yeah, like, it's not easy to just, you know, be walking and then, or be driving and then you come across trash. Like, people have thrown trash, you know, anyhow. Yeah, it's amazing. It's a clean place. So I think by far that is like the most amazing thing for me about Rwanda. And then I don't like that. I don't know if this is just my experience or it's just that food is the living cost in Rwanda is quite a bit higher as compared to Kenya, and in fact as compared to all, if not most, East African countries. Yeah. I think the cost of living is a bit high. Yeah, and Rwandan people are the first people to serve me 1 piece of meat. Yeah, even though, in fact, the first time we went there as students, there's this particular day, I think it's the day we went to, it's not the day we went to Huye. on that particular day we were within the city, but I remember serving lunch in a buffet setup, and in the chefing dish that had beef, it had been indicated strictly one piece of meat. Like if you serve another piece, you pay extra. As a Kenyan, I was baffled. Nilikuwa nashangaa, you know, we're so used to enjoying meat in this country, so it was quite a surprise for me. Yeah, so say much about Rwanda. And then of course something else about Rwanda is, if you're riding on a motorbike, you have to have a scarf. You have to have a scarf because you have to put on the helmet, and it seems like they don't want your hair oils and your sweat to stick on the helmet, and then someone else has to use it too. So you have to, like, no border guy will carry you without a scarf. Lazima ukuwe na scarf, even if you're removing your sweater and covering your head, because like you have to put on that helmet. And I think, you know, I think that is amazing, because it goes to show how serious they are about, you know, safety on the roads. Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's like my favorite thing about Rwanda, the fact that you have to wear your helmet, and the fact that you have to have a scarf so that you can wear the helmet, and then the fact that, you know, the city and the country generally is super clean. I don't think any East African country compares. I don't think so. Last but not least, South Sudan. This is difficult. This is going to be difficult to talk about, because I was in constant fear when I visited South Sudan, and I was in constant fear because of the stories of other people, and you know, the fact that I had all these stories about people, you know, just randomly getting arrested. And I don't think you want to be arrested in a foreign country. I've never been arrested in a foreign country, and I don't think you want to get arrested in a foreign country. But I think you might have seen this on my social media. The airport was crazy, absolute nuts, chaos, absolute chaos. Hot. Juba is hot like a heater. Juba is effing hot. And then now I didn't see any air conditioning at the airport. Like, it was crazy. It was absolute chaos. It was hot. The airport is chaotic. I'm just hoping that they very soon they have like a more organized airport with air conditioning, because Juba is hot. So I didn't get to, in the few days that I visited Juba, I didn't get to experience a lot of it. And I think this is the only country that I've visited where I've only, you know, spent time at the capital. I've not explored other cities or other towns within the country. But I didn't get to, the point is I didn't get to experience the city quite that much, because it was extremely hot. Like, you know, going to countries like that makes me appreciate Kenya more, because in Kenya, unless it's on a hot January day, you're able to, you know, get out and, you know, take care of business. But I was not able to do that in Juba, because it was extremely hot. It was extremely hot. Yeah, like it was crazy. But I would say the cost of living is a bit high compared to Tanzania and Uganda, and also Kenya as well. And then But now the highlight for me was experiencing River Nile for the first time in all its glory. That river, not for the first time. I've experienced River Nile in Uganda, but you know, the South Sudanese experience was different because I spent about 4 hours by the Nile, you know, enjoying the breeze, eating, sipping something cold and nice, and an experience that I've not had in Uganda, where I first saw the Nile. In fact, I've only experienced the Nile in Uganda while crossing the Ginger Bridge. Yeah. And that is why I think I need to go back to Uganda, like to experience Uganda more, you know, experience the Nile properly. So back to South Sudan, I got to experience the Nile in all its glory. It's wild, it's raging, it's beautiful. It looks like if you ever get in there, if someone ever throws you in there, they can't find you. Like it's beautiful. It was a beautiful experience. And I was told you can actually go on a yacht ride in the Nile, but I don't think I know how I feel about that, because that river is scary. Yeah, it's scarier. It's scarier than the lake. You know, the lake waters, despite the fact that the lake is vast, the waters are usually still and quiet unless it's maybe high tide or something. But the Nile is raging. The waters are coming from Egypt, with anger. They could consume someone, and the waters can take you, and I don't know where the waters can take you, but it was just beautiful to sit by the river and just enjoy. And then it's big, it's huge, like the width is wild. Yeah, so I think that was my highlight for South Sudan. I wouldn't say that I've completely exhausted all these countries. Like, I've not visited other parts of South Sudan, and I don't know when I'll be able to do that. And when it comes to Uganda, I really need to, you know, get out of Kampala. Most of my experiences in Uganda have been in Kampala, and you know, the sides that go towards Rwanda. Yeah, so but I'm told there are good things in Western Uganda. I'm looking forward to visiting Fort Tenan. Is it Fort Tenan? Yes, it's on my bucket list like crazy. And also, I'm looking forward to exploring Ginger. You know, like Ginger the place, not Ginger the bridge, Ginger the place. I'm looking forward to visiting Ginger and exploring Ginger and all that stuff. Also, another thing I noticed about Uganda is that accommodation is extremely cheap. Yeah, for say 3K or 3 to 5K Kenya shillings, you get, you know, very good accommodation, bed and breakfast and all that. Yeah, so it's also the same with Tanzania. I remember when we were, well, let me speak about Dar. I remember when we were in Dar, we went to Zanzibar, and then we came back to Dar. I think spent a night or two, and then we traveled back to Kenya. But I remember we spent less than 1,500 shillings on accommodation on the day we were coming back from Zanzibar. So, and I think that was quite fair. So when it comes to accommodation, Uganda and Tanzania, extremely affordable. So as I was saying, I need to explore both Uganda and Tanzania some more. places like Moshi, Arusha. Hizo ni places nimepita tu, like sija ishi hapo, ni enjoy kidogo. And if things go well towards the, okay, let me not speak about that. So hizo ni places nimepita tu, but I've not gotten to like really experiences, like immerse myself in the place and you know, enjoy places like Dodoma and all that. But I'm looking forward to doing it. And then when it comes to Uganda, I really want to explore Jinja. I want to explore Fort Tenan and, you know, Western Uganda. And then I think I've explored Rwanda quite a lot. And one thing that struck me about Rwanda that I didn't know, and that I think most people do not know, is that they have so many rivers within Rwanda. It's crazy. Like, it's totally unexpected. Yeah. And I've explored Rwanda. I think I've explored Rwanda quite a lot because I've been there so many times. You see, like I've said, every time I've passed through Kampala, I've been on my way to Rwanda. Yeah. So, and that is like, you know, 5 or 6 times. So I've explored Rwanda quite a lot. I've been all the way to the border, all the way to Rubavu district. Yes, where Lake Kivu is. Yeah, I've experienced Lake Kivu Serena, and you know, all that. And I had quite some amazing fish at Lake Kivu. Yeah, so I think I've experienced Rwanda quite a lot. I've been there for work, I've been there for love, I've been there for school. You know, it's been it's been amazing. Yeah, but then now I'm keen on exploring Uganda and Tanzania a bit more. I'm also sure about South Sudan because for obvious reasons that I don't want to talk about in this video. But that's it. Yeah, so I think that summarizes how I feel about the East African countries that I've been to. East Africa has quite a lot to offer, and I don't know how much time it will take for me or for anyone to fully get to experience East Africa. There's quite a lot to offer, and the people are so warm, and you know, there's quite a lot of amazing experiences. I've been thinking about going back to Zanzibar because there are beaches there that I'm yet to explore. Yeah, like, East Africa is amazing. So thank you so much for staying to the end, and if you're still here, then you need to subscribe. Please hit the subscribe button, because if this is your kind of content, then you're gonna be getting more of it if you subscribe. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for tuning in, and see you on the next video. Kindly tell me in the comments what your favorite things are in the East African countries that I have talked about. What are your favorite experiences? Let me know. Bye.